Hey everyone, welcome to the Costume Jewelry Chronicles with Lynn and Carrie. Each episode we will feature a new vintage costume jewelry designer and talk a little bit about jewelry reselling. We hope you enjoy.
I actually don't really list very many shell things. I did post them up that sell for decent money, but shell stuff can be, I don't know if it's because it's so oversaturated or if it's just maybe not. If you get a real beautiful piece of certain mother of pearl like Lydia mentioned and it's set in sterling silver, we see it in cameos a lot with different things. I think that that's then it definitely can have some value. But there's just a lot of shell that just isn't necessarily, in my opinion, worth listing. But anything that's queen conch, and most conch shells are of the queen conch species that we see, right? Because we're not in certain vicinities that see a lot of the others. So if it is conch shell, I would not list it personally at all. Um, I'm with Lynn on the fact that the list, when I look it up, is the coral. There's so many kinds, and I don't know the difference. I do list coral. I have not had any issues, but so maybe the kind of listing aren't one of the issues. I will say I see a lot of coral listed on eBay that is not coral at all. Especially angel skin coral. You see a lot of angel skin coral, and I can tell by the pictures that it is not angel skin coral. So before you just do a Google Lens search and say, oh, this is coral because Google Lens said so, or another person has it listed as that, please go by like the things that Lynn mentioned, that how we can tell if it really is, because boy, there's a lot of fake coral out there that's being called the real deal, and the collectors will absolutely call you out on it and return your item. So don't do that. Um,
And just to add to
yeah,
that, the Presidium gem tester actually, if you use that, it will go right above glass. So if it's resin, it's gonna it's not going to register. But shell registers above, right above glass. But then you got, what did I say? Angel skin? No, the coral. That one coral was like 3.5 or something like that. So it's less than glass. So it's not going to register. So pearls do. Pearls I know register right above glass.
yeah, and what makes it is true. So if you use, there's lots of if the color's rubbing off on anything, it's not coral. Coral color will not transfer with acetone. So just be careful what we're calling things. I have made the mistake, which it could probably happen to me again. Like things, most shell products cannot go internationally without issues. I'm not saying all of them, but like every single mother of pearl piece I've ever had try to go international, it gets stopped. So, and it's up to us to know those things, which ones can, which ones can't. Even when it's eBay International, they just stop it and they don't take my money or anything. But every single time I've tried to ship mother of pearl or abalone or anything like that, can't do it internationally. So just be careful on that, or just don't be surprised if it happens, because it's happened to me a couple times. Um, but mainly the conch things, the one I see the most of having issues, and the red abalone or the black abalone and the white abalone, you can't sell it at all. So just be careful of it. Don't list a lot of that. Yeah, I think Catherine's right. I think it's boring. A lot of that shell stuff's boring, and there's just so much of it out there that crafters used, especially in like the 60s and 70s, and it's just oversaturated. So just make sure it's valuable. I do love the spiny oyster though. I will say that stuff is beautiful. It's used in a lot of our Southwestern jewelry, and it is gorgeous if you have some. So that's
That
probably my favorite out of that list.
that and the angel skin coral is my favorite because I've sold a couple pieces for in the $300 range. So that's
Yep, the
something
angel skin coral
to
is very nice.
learn.
So
As
would
long
you
as it
say
really,
that's the best selling of all the shells you showed us would be if you
That's
come
the
across
best
an
selling.
angel skin?
That's the best selling for me. I've never run across spiny oyster. I've never had a piece, but I think that one would sell for be pretty valuable too.
I haven't either, but I would say spiny oyster is probably the most um valuable as far as money wise, and then probably the angel skin coral. I would agree with that. And you do see there's a lot of fake abalone too. There is a lot of fake abalone. So just people call a lot of that shell stuff things it's not. And in the lower dollar stuff, it probably doesn't matter. But I agree, most of my shell stuff ends up in junk lots. Um, Nicole,
Hey, okay, couple questions. So, how do you tell the difference between angel skin coral versus conch? Because they're so similar in color. Did I miss that in your presentation? What was the trick?
texture is totally different.
So the angel skin is smoother or te more texture?
Hope you're muted, Lynn.
Mm.
See, this has like striations in it,
Oh, okay.
and this one is like, I call it blush. It has like a peachy pink and it's smoother. You don't see like real harsh stripes like this one.
There's patchy. It looks like patchy parts of the darker color more than the actual like stripes, or if it's got defined stripes, it's not angel skin, but it'll have little patches of the blush, kind of like a marbling, but it's just little patches of it.
Right.
If you find any more, Lynn, I have a bracelet and two sets of earrings, and I would love to find a beautiful necklace in angel skin. I love it. And I think you can just tell by looking at it. Once you know, as soon as you see it, you know it's angel skin compared to the other. And it's hard, but it's just very faint. It's like between that white and peach, like you say.
Hmm.
Yep, it's really nice.
Yeah,
And the
it's
other,
subtle. It's
okay, the other question I had was the puka shells, is that hole naturally formed?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're like a
I am pretty
snail
sure, yes.
hole, or a snail was in it or whatever kind of
Yep.
thing. Or mollusk or
You
whatever the
can
hell it's
tell puka shells is one thing too. Once you get a set that, because there's a lot of it that's that, like touristy type stuff and it's not real, but people call it that, but it's not. But when you get a set, you'll really know because it's like got a swirl all the way down. It's not just like one little ridge. It's usually, and it goes down. It's like not, you'll know. Like once
Spiral.
you, it is. It's got the
Yeah.
spiral to it, not just like it's not just cut. When people call it, oh, it's a puka shell necklace, and it's like slabs. That's never right.
Would I get in trouble if because I have a bracelet that's got it's broken, but it's got a lot of sterling silver, and I think it's got that blue coral, either blue coral or puka shell. I can't tell which one. If I sold it in a lot and not said anything about the shell, would I get in trouble?
Yeah, well, it's federally illegal to sell it,
But I don't know that. I don't know what it is because I haven't
but it's your
tested it.
responsibility to know what you're selling. So,
That's true. Good point.
And I don't think puka's blue, and then but shells aren't even that heavy to add to
Not
your
really
junk lot,
blue
so it's
though,
not
is
even
it?
worth it.
It's more
hmm,
grayish blue, isn't it?
I
It's like
don't
a
think it's blue.
it's like
Puka shells
gray.
are
I've
not
never had
blue.
it,
No.
so I don't think I've had
It's
it.
the puka shells that they show here are like four variations of tans and beiges and browns.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
was
I've
referring
never seen
to
it colored.
coral.
You're talking about the coral?
Well, I jumped to a different shell, but yeah, the puka shell, you're right, is that color, but the blue, they call it blue coral. It's looks gray to me.
Yeah, it kind of has that grayish tone.
Hmm.
It's not a bright blue.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like we can't be like, well, we sold this legal thing, but I didn't know. Like now and really, I tell you what, it's just like the DNR around here. I'm telling, they are really, really on it. They're on it. They do scan our listings for that. They're really quite particular. So, I'm not saying you're going to go to prison or anything, but I wouldn't do it. Um, and the
It's like with the
conch thing you do
925
see.
stuff, I saw a listing or someone complaining on a board the other day, like the eBay for beginners. Like, well, I said it was untested, even though they say 925, and I bet they're not 925, and they should have known better. And it's like, no, like that's not.
We sell it saying
Yeah.
925, it better be 925. Even if we don't mention it, if you can see that it's got to be.
Yeah, if I put in a junk lot, I'd rip off the hang tag or rip off that part of it if
Yep.
it's
When I have it
not.
tested and it's not, right? So when I take it all to the buyer and it's fake and I get a lot of fake stuff or stuff that just doesn't test, I throw it in the garbage can because it's not going to do me any good. It's not going to do anybody else any good. And I can't pass along counterfeit stuff. So,
I have a related situation. I had a 14 karat gold neck bracelet, no, ring sent off to authentication. I got the notice back saying it's a little bit less than 14K. So I forget exactly how they phrased it, but it was a minor issue was what was identified. If assuming this comes back, then what do I get it? Then I just sell it to my scrap guy.
That's what
Yeah.
I would do with it.
Yeah.
That sucks
Okay.
that way. That yeah.
I
Yep.
was
It's the
bummed,
same
but
thing
the
as what happened
report
to
didn't
mine.
say what percentage it was. It
Yeah,
just
they
said
don't.
it's less than 14K.
Did they say that they were going to see if the buyer still wanted it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. So that's what I, this is my opinion. This is not necessarily proven fact at all. Like I had the same thing happen with that sterling piece, it tested right under, and then I took it and had him gun it at my place. I had him gun it before, and I just figured it'd be fine because they said it was within what they call sterling, even though it wasn't 72.5. It was like there's that little range. Because when things are older, I feel like sometimes that can happen with the old 14K stuff too. Like it should be a cut and dry thing, but I feel like sometimes when things are old, they just weren't measured quite the same. So I don't think it's the same as trying to sell counterfeit because you did your due diligence, but they usually will ask the buyer if it's okay.
Yeah. I
It's
wonder if they're
it
going
is
to tell the buyer what the carat weight is, or
they will.
they will.
They'll tell, yeah.
Yeah.
They won't
So
tell them,
I'm
oh, it's
hoping
off.
it's
Like
like,
if a
13.8 or something, but who
yeah.
knows? I don't know.
I wonder how
Yeah, that's
much
always hard.
is actually like that. I bet tons of jewelry out there is like that.
I bet it is too. And it's not the same as a fake. You know what I mean? It can be off a little or it was measured differently or yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
they
they
called it out
say
as a minor issue.
Yep.
if
That
it
means it was probably
says,
within 2 points.
I think if it's exactly 14, it's supposed to say P on it for plum. Like for, it is 14K plum.
I've read different things about that. And it depends on where it was made.
I thought that was England or something or old
Yeah,
time.
it depends on where it was made.
Sure.
Hmm.
But it's confusing and I sure as heck don't know. But I wouldn't sweat it. And Larry, your customer very well might just decide they want it.
Yeah, he was
Because
he
I
was
asked,
very much in. It was that gold piece that had a really really big yellow piece of quartz or something like that.
they very well might still want it.
He wanted more detail on the stone than of the gold, but who knows? I don't know.
And it might have been citrine or something, like I'm terrible with stones, so I don't really know either. But
Would
um
would uh, would the Presidium be able to determine that particular stone that you just
I would be
mentioned?
able to tell you if it was quartz or citrine, of
Okay,
what family it's in.
all right. And then given the color, you would make the call. And
I don't because I suck at it, but like Lynn
Yeah, I was
could.
reading on boards the other day. I'm like, oh my
I'm not
God,
good
you
at it.
explained to someone about that. Like, it just tells you the family, and then you have to investigate further and do all this. And I'm like, I'm not buying one. Still.
I price it like it's the best stone that I think it is, and then I call it the color, and I usually still get the same price. But then I don't box myself into saying it is, and then you get a collector that's like, well, this is really a subsidiary of this. And I don't freaking know. I don't pretend to know. But some people are really good at it. I'm just not good at it. So, um, before I show examples, or anybody have any great jewelry hauls or sales this week that they'd like to share? Because I love to see people's good finds. Did you go to that estate sale, Larry?
yeah, I did. I ended up I was number 3 in line, and it's first in the jewelry room. They limited access to 3 people. Man, there was tonnage in that place. But you were
Nice.
you were right. Most all of it was modern, but I did pick out. They were only $6 a piece, which I know is pretty high, but I ended up buying like 5 or 6 really good looking ones, just because
Mhm.
my assumption was I should be able to sell them for 19 or 29 or whatever. Um, and I picked up a necklace. Actually, if I could show this to you, I'd really appreciate it. Um,
Sure.
Let me bring it up here real quick. Did I put it up? Let me share my screen. No, this one was misleading because it it came in this box, and this is a a local jeweler that sells diamonds and high fashion stuff. But now I'm suspecting that this box was not accurate, excuse me. Just
Really
because
pretty necklace though.
this is
Really
not
pretty.
silver. This does, doesn't test out for silver. And they appear to be some sort of plastic. I looked at the joint. They're knotted, but it's still some form of plastic. But so I got matching earrings. Is this
Peacock,
common?
oil slick.
I'm sorry, what?
Use the words peacock and oil slick.
Peacock and oil slick.
I have
Okay.
better luck with oil slick than peacock, but both work.
I
'Cause that's a very pretty set,
How much
no
were
matter
you
what
looking
it's made out of.
for?
Oh, you're probably in the ballpark. I probably tried $29.99. I think it's
Yeah,
really
okay.
pretty. Don't
All
you,
right.
Lynn? I think it's really pretty.
Yeah.
You guys ever use this embroidery stuff to hold the earrings?
No,
I
but I
don't
just
use any backs at all, so no.
I just picked up some that all the earrings at a yard sale, and that's what she did too.
Yeah.
I get
And
lapel pins like that too.
Carrie, you deliberately remove the backs, right?
I've never sent an earring with a back ever, but I'm not saying that's a right or wrong way. That's just how I do it. Yeah.
The
Okay.
only time I use the backs
Yeah.
is if it's like a 14 karat post with the 14
Yes.
karat butterfly or whatever thing
I
on
would
it.
agree with that. Yeah.
The-
Otherwise,
take
I
'em off.
don't because it's gross.
It is gross.
But them backs looked really clean, like it wasn't hardly wore.
yeah.
Yeah, if they look real clean like that, I'll sometimes like the KJL, like all those home shopping ones I got that nobody'd ever worn, I left those on. But otherwise I take them off.
The other one I picked up, and these were very reasonable in price, I believe. I don't know. Let me share real quick. Is a bunch of hat pins. Is that a waste of time? Is that
Some of them can be good.
so they
Those
were
are nice
asking
ones.
$3 a piece for this. I picked up the most gold gilding ones that I could find. There were about five, but I pulled three, and they wanted $1 a piece for these. But the lady, I picked up 65 of these things, and I was prepared to negotiate a price. They charged me $3 for 65 of the pins.
Wow.
So
I
what
would
I've
have got
got
them.
now,
Oh
I've
my
got
gosh,
three.
there's not a freaking estate sale anywhere near me that ever has jewelry priced that low. They're all like that. Those would have been $12 a piece at least.
No, I think those are nice,
Yeah,
Larry.
but them
Beautiful.
are like
Yeah.
just beaded,
Right.
So I
like
think those are
they almost
hand
look
done.
modern.
They
Yeah.
are modern
I
now that I
think they're
look at it. Look,
modern
Larry,
ones
those are
too.
modern. Those aren't old.
But that's great. You can just even flip it right back into a lot of all of them if you want, or split them up into two lots.
Yeah,
It's
there's no way you're
minimal
gonna go
effort,
wrong on it.
Well,
That price of cost of goods.
I've got I've got three of these that are packed. With one of them's like 12, another one is 18, the other one is
Perfect.
24. Or
Nice.
I put this one. I'm kind of proud of this one just because there's 18 of them, and this thing sure looks cool. But I suspect I'm overpriced here. What do you guys think I'm priced for this stuff?
Oh
Are you
no, you're all
selling
right.
the
Well, give it a
holder?
week, see what happens, and then there's lower it.
Just try it.
I honestly I would put 3 hat pins in that holder and then sell the other hat pins by themselves.
So
I
I
would-
did something like that. I cherry picked the really good looking ones with filigree, um, and turquoise. And these are quote what I perceived to be the better quality ones, and pulled them out. And I'm trying to sell these
So I
things
don't
for.
think they're vintage, so I don't know that I'd list them as vintage. I don't think those are vintage.
Okay.
And those are they stick pin or hat pin size? It's hard to tell from the picture.
Some of them are like 8 inches long.
oh,
Like
yeah.
this one here is
Hat
really
pin.
long.
So those are hat pins, yep.
And
So
On
one
the
thing that
others-
tipped me, go ahead, sorry.
On the others, were you selling the holders?
And
yeah,
the
the
pins.
holder and the pins that are in the holder.
Okay. Did you actually research the holders? Because some holders are expensive.
Some of them
Yeah,
are.
I did, and they seem to go from between $20 to $40.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure you looked.
But one thing that was a little scary was I saw one that basically said this is a repop, and it looks the bottom looks close to what mine, excuse me, mine is as far as the made in Nippon, but I'm not sure. I don't know, but it's not vintage though.
Just Google fake Nippon marks.
Okay, will do.
So that estate, Larry, one thing that I noticed right away was that she obviously was a crafter with her jewelry because there was a lot of pieces that you could tell had been done with jewelry. And then when I saw those first couple trays of brooches and I could automatically tell they were new, it just made me kind of leery of any of the estate jewelry. But I think you made right. I mean, I think what you picked up was, I mean, especially for the price, you're not going to go wrong on it. You know what I
No,
mean? Like, so
I
yeah,
ended up getting about 12 the blown glass paperweights, about
yeah, those are nice.
half of which are signed.
Yeah,
And
nice.
those were the signed ones were like $10 a piece. So that I gotta research the signatures because some of those can go for thousands of bucks. I doubt that I got it, but this was a giant house of an oil executive, and they had expensive-ish stuff all over the place. The woman had like 400 purses and new tags. Anyway, it's
That Jim Shore collection was very impressive.
yeah, and that stuff was scattered
Wow.
all over the house. They had probably 30 or 40 of those things. I didn't touch them because I've never done good with that class of figurines. And I'm asking myself, can I triple my money? Probably not. And at a $50 range, do I really want to work that hard for $50 minus commission? Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, thanks for your input.
Yeah, no, I think you did good on your pickup there.
I also got two brand new Brahmin purses, new
Oh,
tags.
nice.
And that
Oh,
was at a garage sale, but
let
I
me
paid
see
up
what
for
they,
those.
let's see what they look like. Have you listed
Um,
them?
I have not. Yeah, I'd have listed them.
Okay, I'll just go to your site. You know,
Um,
I'm a Brahmin
they're
addict.
they're 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 a tote style,
Uh-huh.
and the elderly woman, she was dying of cancer for multiple years, and she went on buying sprees while she was sitting, um, her last days, and she bought basically two of these,
Okay.
and
Thanks.
I don't know, we'll see. Oh, I'm not sharing, am I? No. Anyway, I'm asking 250 for these, and I don't know if I'll get it, but I'm into them for $75 a piece. I probably paid a little too much for them, but they are brand new with tags. Everything's still got the plastic on it.
Well, you're going to list them for that and you'll take
I'll take an offer of anything north of
yeah.
say 175 or so.
Oh yeah, maybe
Okay.
you might get them for somebody will buy them for 220 or so because I have some listed like that. So
Yeah.
that's good. Very
All
good.
right. Well, yeah, I had a pretty productive sourcing weekend. And golf clubs, man, I got some golf clubs, but a lot of them I can't process because I have to get my hand, soapy and watery, and I can't do that yet with my stitches.
Your wife doesn't want to scrub golf clubs?
No,
No. Just
she.
checking.
If I'm not going to scrub the toilets, she's sure not going to scrub my
Good point.
my
Fair
golf clubs.
So
enough,
really
fair
good
enough.
way to be aware of yourself, Larry. That is very true. I feel the same way on certain things. Like, Mindy, you've been all nice and patient.
Hi. I wanted to share. I actually was away this past week, but I still had my store available for sales. And I actually, had one of my best eBay weeks. I know it's not a lot, but I've been listing more and more. But I wanted to share a couple of things that were interesting, I guess. Trying to figure out how to share here. Hold on.
It's the green box at the bottom that has an arrow.
Okay.
And then sometimes you have to hit an OK or whatever when it pops up.
Yep. Let's see.
Sorry, Molly's really going at it today.
Okay, I think.
Here.
I don't know why it's not. Anyway, I'm not sure. I'm pressing the share button, but it's not, doesn't seem to
And
be going. Do you
there's
guys
probably
see
a
it?
pop-up box behind your Zoom is what I'm guessing that you have to say okay for your computer if you've never done it
Oh,
before.
You have to
okay.
pick which screen you want to share.
Yep.
Yeah, I did that. Okay, here it is. Okay. I think this is it. Okay, there we go. All right. So
Nice.
yeah, this was kind of a mistake. But I got rid of it quickly. Hopefully it won't come back. So I was on an online bidding site and I saw this and I comped it and I saw listed comps around $600 to $800. I didn't see any sold comps. I probably could have looked further, but some of the sold comps didn't look exactly like this. So, but what I didn't realize after I won the item, I then read that it was missing the pin in the back. And there is one rhinestone missing, which the rhinestone was actually in the bag. So I did disclose all of that. And I figured I would put it up for 300 and I took an offer on 250 and I made about $50. I
Can I
was
see
hoping to
the
make
back of it?
more, but you want to see the back of it?
Yeah, just flip it over.
And what did you
Yeah.
pay for the item?
I paid it was almost 200. So yeah, it was about a little under 200 in the end between the shipping and the the auction site fees and everything else.
What do you
You're always
think?
my
So
adventure. You're my adventurous jewelry child. So I think I actually kind of appreciate it in a lot of ways. With the you'll go out there and get, but you're loading your store full of really good stuff too. So
I wonder
yeah,
what a jewelry
actually I'm
shop
looking
would
at
charge.
my notes now. I purchased it for about 155. And it sold for 250 and after all the fees and everything, I think I made about $45. I'll have to double check that.
I
Anyway,
wonder
what
what
was
a
that, Larry?
jewelry shop would charge to replace that pin.
I don't know. I didn't really want to look into it.
So I agree with what she did with that, right? Because what if she took it in, paid to get the pin replaced, and it just didn't look quite right, or they didn't place it the way Trifari
Yeah.
did? It would actually devalue her piece.
Yeah.
I would have done
So I
exactly
did
what she did.
disclose everything. I shipped this out yesterday and so hopefully everything there,
Yeah,
they
that's a
read
giant
everything.
win, actually. So that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you show the mark? The
Yeah, it's right
Trifari
there,
mark?
Lynn.
I see it, but I want to see closer. Does that look real to you?
So I'm not saying anything because I don't want to brain on her parade.
Okay. You don't
But
think
it
this
looks
is real?
That mark is not
I
the
wouldn't have picked it up.
Trifari.
I'm just gonna say that.
And why do you say
Um,
that it doesn't look real?
It just doesn't look
The
right. It's so see
the
how
the
indented it is? Go
and it
ahead, Lynn.
has the brush marks on the back, and then the Trifari mark, the crown is not even over
In the
top
wrong
the
place.
T, and it's usually touching the T.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I was thinking the crown mark isn't over the T, but I
And
was
see how
wondering what
indented
else.
that is? So it's trying to look, I know exactly what
Yeah.
it's trying to look like, right? So when at that age of the Trifari Sterling, because I'm not saying there's no other Trifari Sterling, but there was a certain period of time where there was a lot of Trifari Sterling jelly bellies, and they were very light marked. In fact,
Right.
some of them that you get, you have to hold them at an angle to see the Trifari marking. And that one's like hit struck, right?
That
This one's
is,
very struck.
it's recessed. It's like a relief of the letters, and Trifari's usually in it, like indented in it.
Especially if it's
That
sterling, because sterling's softer.
Okay. All right.
And see the striations made on the back of the legs? Those markings are not an older process.
Yeah, that's like 70s,
Yeah.
80s kind of look.
Okay.
So we're going to cross your fingers that it's not a really stringy collector and they don't go, this is a fake when they get it. Did you
Is
test
it
this one?
going
Well, it's
through
it's
autumn?
going to Delaware, which I think a lot of stuff that I sell to Delaware goes overseas, but it didn't go through the eBay international shipping. It's just some of my stuff goes to a certain address in Delaware, and I think
Right.
it's
Yeah.
one
by
of
a fake
these.
Did you
order.
test the
Yeah.
sterling? Did you
I
test to
don't
make sure that was
test. I don't
sterling?
have a tester for
Just say
sterling. No.
that
It
doesn't
doesn't
look
look
like
sterling.
sterling at all.
The coloring.
Okay. Well,
So they will.
so
Your
I'm
freight
gonna
forwarders,
expect this to come back, I guess.
the freight
All
forwarders
right.
will absolutely test the sterling. Um,
Yeah.
don't sell anything marked sterling if you don't test it. That's my because you're saying that you know it's sterling by saying it's sterling and then it's marked sterling.
Yeah.
So
And the
just I
tests
mean,
are $19
yeah, it's like $20
to buy
to
the
get
chemicals.
the kit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
So
Yeah, I
it's
yes,
should.
going
I
back.
think it's probably a fake. However, if it comes back fake, I don't think the auction company will stand behind it. Because lots of times they'll say, we don't know, we're just selling it for somebody, but it wouldn't hurt to tell them they sold you a fake, I guess.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
that's a repop. Well, not
Okay.
even a repop, it's a fake. I think it's a counterfeit.
You think it's
But
It's going
counterfeit?
back to where it was created, at least, hopefully, probably.
yep. I think it's a
Maybe.
counterfeit. I don't think that was made by Jafari.
Disappointment.
Okay.
See, Liz,
All right. The other
that's the
thing
first
that
time you've ever rained on somebody's parade first instead of
I'm
me.
sorry. I really am sorry,
it's okay.
Mindy, but I
No,
didn't
it's
want
good
that
to
to go
learn. I mean,
through.
I know. It's I've been
Don't feel
selling
bad. It's hard
jewelry
to
for
tell, and there's no like actual like there. You know how there's a Monet book and an APR book. I wish there was an actual just a Trafari book where I could sit there and just study it because it's hard. You can't just study off
agree.
eBay solds because half of them are fake. So it's like
I agree.
Exactly.
hard to
Yeah.
learn to this.
So I'll tell you what I told Larry a long time ago. Reach out to one of us or send me a pic before you purchase that thing of a purchase. Not that I'm always right,
Right.
but
Okay.
sometimes it'll help. Yep. Be happy to
The
help.
other one I wanted to show, I
That's
don't know if you
pretty.
see this. This is was signed Uno alla Volta. I had no idea what this was about.
How
Apparently
pretty.
it's a Italian glass um maker or whatever.
You have a picture of the tank?
So I
Because I've
did,
never heard of that either. So we can learn from
yeah.
what it is.
So yeah, so this was pretty, it was very pretty. And I feel like my lighting isn't right. I use a light box and I still feel like my lighting isn't exactly right. But it sold pretty fast. I did take an offer of $50 on it. And this actually came, my sister was selling jewelry and she wanted to get out of the business. She needed some money. So I bought her jewelry from her. And so this was one of the first things that sold.
Is the
And so I just thought
flower glass?
yes, it's glass.
Oh, that is really
Nice.
cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And the other thing that I learned, there was another sale that I had, which was these right here. I was doing some research on them. I'd never heard the term dragon's breath before. So I researched them. A lot of people used artisan glass but there were a few that labeled it as dragon's breath. And so these sold pretty quickly. I took an
I don't
offer of
think that's dragon's breath.
$24.99.
That's artisan glass.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you tell me what the difference is or?
Let I can pull up a picture for you and show you. It usually has a like a
Glint of different
peach
color. Yeah.
peach background, and when you turn it to the side,
Okay.
it reflects the foil and has just a real big
Like a
reflective
flash.
quality.
It almost has a flash with
Yeah,
it.
flash.
hmm
Let's
Okay.
see.
So I'll stop sharing.
We've just crushed Mindy for the day.
But those are
I feel
beautiful.
bad.
No, it's
Hey,
good because
though,
I want to learn, like learning
you
stuff.
taught me a new brand.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before, and I looked and the comps are pretty good on 'em.
All right, let me share real quick. So
It makes you feel any better, but Mindy, lots of people mislabel Dragon's Breath.
Oh, okay.
So it has
Oh, I
this
see.
reflective. I can see where you might think it is because it does have that blue foil speckly look to it, but there's different
Yeah.
variations. But when you turn it to the side, it's gonna like she said, have a flash of color that reflects. But a lot of them are
Okay.
like this one on the right. And a
Okay.
lot of times the back is open so that the light shines through it, so it gives it that extra flare.
That's a great
Yeah.
one to do a little 5 minute video or 5 second video of to show it
Yep.
jumping around.
And it's hard to tell just by looking at the one, the flat screen. You almost need a video of it to see if it really is.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I
I will,
didn't notice
so
that it was different colors. It just looked
Flat.
blue with maybe like silvery sparkle.
it
Yeah.
was
I would
very,
say it's
I
more
would say it was foiled art glass is what I would
oiled.
say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Boiled. Okay. Yeah.
But
That's all I
here's the
had.
thing, and this is not helpful, right? And I used to hate it when people would tell me this. They would say, well, you'll know it when you get it. And I'd be like, no, I won't, because I have no idea what it is. So
And you
it's not
won't when you
helpful
get
to,
it.
you'll know it when you get it, right? So it doesn't feel helpful when people like us tell you that, because I'd be like, no, I won't know. But like the first time you get it, get something like, so like those old Tripari pieces are super heavy. And they are very, like the signatures on them and stuff are very distinct. So when you get real ones of certain things or certain beads or certain glass, like once you've had it once, you won't make that mistake anymore. But until you get it, it's so hard to tell somebody or show somebody until they hold it, see it, feel it. And so that's why I go to antique malls all the time, because that's about the only time I can feel the like angel skin coral. I had never had one before, and I'd seen that Lynn had one, right? And I went to an antique mall on purpose to try to find a big strand of course they lie there too, but I found a really nice set, and then I felt it and I touched it, and that's about the only way to really know. So don't feel, nobody should feel silly for having something wrong, because that's why I'm so careful about labeling things that I'm not sure about, because I'm even not sure about a lot of that stuff anymore. But it's just experience. And all of a sudden, one day you'll feel it and you'll know. But
And
until
there's
then,
just more and more fake stuff out there all the time. It's
there
just,
is. It's so hard. And people mislabel things and misrepresent things. So it's so hard. But you're doing the right thing by sharing and learning. And I mean, that's just the process. We've all done it. So don't be afraid to share. And you know what?
All right.
Hopefully it went to a freight forwarder and they won't notice until it's in China. And then they'll want you to pay for it and say that you got to ship it back from China. And then you can tell eBay, no, I don't, because they're asking me to go outside of policy because I shipped it to Delaware. And then you can get them that way. So if it
Yeah.
comes back,
All
don't
right.
respond without asking for help. We'll help you.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys.
Yep. Catherine.
hello, I'm going to share my screen. So I got a lot that had this pink pearl necklace in it. And it's kind of variety of colored pinks, and it sold immediately, which of course makes me think I could have priced it higher. but and I sold it for 34, I think it was 34.97. But it sold within like a couple of hours. So I don't know why it sold faster, because I was looking at comps. It does have a sterling silver clasp. But anyway, it sold right away.
Pearl necklaces are so hard to price
So hard. They're
because
all over the place, and they're just,
they could be hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars, or they could be $30. They
yep.
are
And
the
I have
hardest
no
thing.
idea how to tell
And
the
if it has
difference.
a sterling class, that's a good sign that it's probably higher quality. Makes it a little bit better quality.
Yep.
The color on that, with them being varied like that, I mean, the higher quality ones, they're going to try to make them almost exact in color.
It's
But
kind of
this
blurry.
to me says that, yeah, it's really, it's real pearls because they vary in
Yep.
color and they're a really pretty color. Like that's
Yeah.
different
They're
than
really
you
pretty.
normally see.
How did you
And Delta
determine that they
Springs.
were truly pearls?
Because I rubbed them on my tooth, and
Mhm.
you get a gritty.
Yeah.
If you,
And they're not perfectly
yeah,
sized. You can
So
kind
I
of
would
see
say
the
that, yeah,
variation
like
in
what Lynn
shape.
says, the fact that they're varied in shape and stuff tells me that they're real. So I had a, so you know me, I don't like to list pearl stuff because I don't know and I don't like them and all that good stuff.
yeah,
And the
mm,
gritty on the teeth thing seemed to work. You know what? It doesn't work part of the time because they roll fake pearls in crushed, what the heck do you call that stuff? Like
Fish,
oyster shell?
fish,
Yeah, like fish
fish,
shells.
shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish,
So then they feel
whatever.
gritty. So just know that. But I do think yours are real, Catherine. I'm just saying, whole gritty thing, it's a good indicator, but they
Yeah.
do a lot of the high-end fakes roll them around in that grit.
And the clasp, looks very
Yep.
vintage. The stamp looked real.
Yeah, I just think they're a really nice set.
What about the opening at the drill hole of real pearls? Do they have a particular, what are they?
If you
Obviously,
see,
they're going to be consistent in color.
like Carrie just said, they roll them in fish, whatever,
I don't know what it's
and
called.
it has
Crud.
that iridescent look to it. So if that iridescent stuff is peeling off of it, then it's not real. You can see that by the hole. And if it's a clean cut and nothing's peeling around the hole, then you know it's a real pearl too.
Hmm.
If
If
you rub it
nothing
on your
else, it
tooth
was
and
a good
accidentally scrape
turnover.
off the finish, you know it's fake. Because I've done that.
I just think yours is real. I just think it is a nice set, and somebody was probably looking for a nice pink set of pearls, and yours popped up, and it was a nice set. I don't
Yeah.
know that you were way off. You probably could have gotten a little bit more, but heck, you had a nice quick sale, and
Yeah.
I
Good
probably would
turnover.
have tried it at 69.99 and then went down because again, it could be over $100 set of pearls, but
I know. And that's one thing I don't like about pearls is like I can usually tell the difference between real and fake, but that's as far as my knowledge goes. I can't, I'm done then
yours
at
is
that
probably more
point.
than mine.
So I'm like,
I'm
I
no
just,
good at them.
it's like shell stuff. And then, but in the same lot of jewelry was this
yay.
Pittman Keeler sweetheart bracelet. I put it up for 115 and it sold the same day for 95. I took an offer of 95 because
Nice.
why not?
I
Wow.
sold that once
I
before, and I sold it for way under, and it sold like super quick, and I didn't realize what I had.
Yeah.
So
That's how I
that's really
sold my
nice.
first one too.
Very
Really
nice.
quick, really fast, because I had no idea. Yep.
Yeah,
And then the other one,
I just got one this week too and
that's
listed it
what?
at 149. I said I just got one this week too and I listed it for 149 and it still hasn't sold.
Yeah, I find that usually the nicer items that I put out, I tend to underprice, and the crappier items I tend to overprice. So I need to
Hey,
find the middle ground.
that's me too.
And then this one I listed yesterday and it sold today, and it's a micro mosaic bracelet. And again, there's like a lot of them out there. This picture ended up really dark. I don't know why. And it's really pretty, but some of them are only selling for like $20. So
Oh, it's cool though. It's different though. It looks kind of different style than other
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
the shapes are really nice and different. So that
Mhm.
may have sold it right away.
And it had the old hook, clasp on the back.
Good for you, Catherine. You're selling a lot of jewelry.
Yep,
I'm
looks good.
getting there. And then this was the crown trafari. This isn't my listing, but this is what I always think the crown looks like, where it's touching the T. And the crown that we were looking at earlier, that who had it?
Mindy?
Mindy.
Mindy, had like almost like 4 prongs, that were just sort of straight.
Yeah. It was a
Does
total different
And
crown
see how that
and it
one's
was too
touching the
precise.
T?
Yeah. And does crown trafari, did they always use the same crown?
I don't think the size was always the
It's
same, but it
With
was
the same
close.
like look where it
it's
like this one
not
has, like the
sometimes.
3.
It looks different to me sometimes. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
It just
see
looks
this
faded
one.
sometimes too. It's hard to tell.
But it is usually touching the T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was on a
It's so hard to
sterling.
tell a lot of times because
And in fact, a lot of the sterling
they're
Trafaris
like
look really
just the
gross.
stamping.
Like a lot of the old Trafaris, like when you get a good sterling one, they're nasty looking. They look rough. They don't look, they're just if you find one that looks too perfect, it probably is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not saying you couldn't find one like that, but they look a little grody sometimes. I don't know who was next. Nicole, was it you? No? Meg, was it you?
Well, then it's Meg.
Have a good day, folks. I'm heading out.
Bye, Larry.
Bye,
See you,
Larry.
Larry.
Yeah, I got one good sale. Share my screen. Okay, so I got it at one of the estate sales where I got a bunch of good jewelry, and I got it over a month ago, and I was having a little sale day, so I took an offer of $50, and I'm completely happy with that. But because I had priced really high, just kind of like hoping like maybe it's one of the good ones. I know the class wasn't actually gold, but yeah, some of the cloisonne beads necklaces, some of them went for a lot, some didn't. I don't know. I had a lot of like watchers and a lot of views and all that. So obviously it just wasn't a 99 or $93 necklace. So
How
yeah,
long,
$50
No, it was.
how long did you have it listed?
over a month, but it was a
Yeah.
sale day, so I was happy with 50. Fine by
Oh,
me.
I
So it
think
was
it's
like
fine.
$3 into $50. Fine. I guess I could have waited for longer to get 100, but
It's just one of
anyway.
those things where collectors of that need to find it.
It was a good pickup
Was your
though.
first picture on the bust?
No, it was the coiled one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I have been trying to do that a lot more lately, is doing the close-up pictures rather than on the bust, because it just didn't show very well on the busted.
Yeah, the bus, it's too far away a lot of times. When I first started selling jewelry, I always had like things very far away, and I'm like, realize I'm like, you can't even see these things.
Yeah.
Nicole, are you still there?
Sorry, did you call on me? I had to.
It's fine.
Yes.
You're good.
I just had a request for next week in case you needed an idea. Um, that was a great presentation on shells, Lynn, by the way. If we could do something on like descriptives, like when you have a piece and then like how to describe it, because sometimes I put way too much thought into, well, what style is this, or what decade is this from, and just kind of like a quick crash course on, keywords, like for those of us that have fired our chat GPT.
Well, that'll be Lynn's department because I call things like blue rhinestone brooch. That's as descriptive as I actually get. I might put lampwork oil slick. I use that word a lot. Lampwork, Burano type things like that. But otherwise, I'm not person to teach you that.
I don't think I could do a whole presentation on that, because I have been cutting, I don't hardly put anything in the description anymore, and my title is very broad and narrows down
Make,
a little
makes
bit.
makes it the same thing. Yep.
If,
Okay.
I mean, we could do it as a group, just throw out titles and say, what would you, title this?
And the trick is
Okay.
to look at what searches. So if you know like at least one like word of it, like let's say the pearl necklace, right? So if you will go sort high to low and scroll through, or do control F and find that that keyword is nowhere near anywhere on the sold, so then I don't put it. If
Control
you're like
F is
searching for
what?
like that kind of necklace with that kind of keyword kind of thing.
How do you search with Control F? That's to find a word that's
Yeah,
searched.
yeah, yeah. So if you pull out, so if you do a sold search and then you have the screen up, and I'll change it to showing 240 listings at the bottom, the maximum amount, let's say, if it had a lot of results, and then you do control F, and then it'll pop up a little search bar, and then you could type like, let's say you're trying to search I don't know, you want to see if 1920s is in there or something, I don't know, or like sparkly, and write in sparkly and see if any of the solds even have that word in the titles. If they don't, then that's not a good keyword to use for what you're trying to sell, probably.
Okay, so that Control F will bring up every single listing that has the word that you put in there. That's
Out
sold.
of those
Yeah, it'll
solds,
highlight
you need
it.
to be on the solds
Yeah, you'll
already.
see it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Can you do that for what people are searching for
You can
too?
do that on like any website, I think on any browser, but at least on Google Chrome, like go to any website and like do that and on a word that you know is on the screen right now, and you'll see it highlighted to see what I mean.
Well, I guess I want to know what someone would type in to search for a particular item sometimes. Like, and I put in, like, I'll do a search of what I would look for, and then nothing, it comes up completely not what, you know
Yeah,
what I
so
mean?
then if you don't even
That's
know, then
where
you
our
just scroll the
research
solds and
comes
you look
in.
at them and see what the words are and on them kind of thing,
Yep.
and see if you see any repeating.
Okay,
That's
thank
it.
you.
Yep. That's how I do it too. Lisa.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Lisa's always finding amazing stuff at old estate sales.
Thanks, honey. I want to elaborate more on what Catherine was saying about that crown for Tafari, because I know what she was saying. Mindy's crown had like a whole bunch of points to it, and then the one that Catherine showed, was just like what, 3 or 4 or whatever, and hers looked like it had like a little cross on one of them.
Like a medieval one.
Okay, so is that it? Like she was saying, is that the normal one you always see, or since Mindy's, you guys were saying it's fake, you wouldn't see a crown like that on a real Trifari?
They're not all the same,
They're
right?
not.
So that makes it hard, right? But like the older Trafaris, like the real Jelly Bellies, they had that like more medieval type crown look, and they always touched the top of the T. They
So
always make
that's
connection to it.
the main part. Okay, so
But that
that
one
T
was
is
just
the
too
main part.
perfect.
Okay. All right. And then the other thing, Lynn, you're in your presentations, your jewelry's kind of like floating. What are you using? What are you using as your background? How are you doing that? Is Lynn
I
here?
just do background remover in that Canva program.
Well, oh, you're using Canva because that blue. So I think it looks good like that. Carrie, you don't think it would be good to sell it like that on eBay? Just keep the
It
grays
would
and
distract from the actual jewelry.
does it?
Yeah.
That
I think it looks
looks
beautiful in her presentation, but I wouldn't sell jewelry that way.
okay. All right, that was it. Thank you.
Suzanne. Sorry, I think I skipped Mindy.
Yes, I have a question. I just bought a lot of jewelry, Carrie, and a lot of
Oh,
it's signed, and I'm very excited. And I just went through and I found in the one box 11 and the signed names, and one of them said Kenneth Lane, no J. Have you ever seen Kenneth J. Lane without the J?
yep, I have.
Okay, it looks sort of like an 80s hat, rhinestone.
I think it was the later ones, I think maybe the 80,
Okay.
late 80s, maybe.
All
But I
right.
could be wrong on that. But yes, I have.
And
I
a
went very close.
couple, like, have you ever heard of Razza? Razza?
Raza, yep. Usually it's like they did a lot of statement pieces with animals.
Yeah, Ram's Head is
Yep,
what I have.
that's a good one. About $60, 65, 70.
Okay, now this, I'm just going to show you if I can. I don't know where my
We're over
camera is.
here, almost. It looks
Blur's
cool,
on. I'm
like
trying
a
to tell.
serpent or a dragon or something.
Can't tell. It's totally blurry, Suzanne. I'm
Let
sorry.
me see if I can take my blur off real fast. If anybody else has a question, they can ask.
Did you say your Kenneth Lane? It was
It was
KJ, or did it say Kenneth Lane?
Kenneth Lane, no J.
Okay, that one is 1970s. Oh, there's some in the 60s too, depending on
Yeah,
the copyright symbol.
I'll show you. Look, I think that's right then because it looks sort of like that era. So,
Actually, they did it in the 70s and or the 80s and the 90s too.
I was gonna
But there's
say I don't know for sure, but
That
I
was
know I've seen it
cool.
and it wasn't fake. So
it's on my
very cool,
jewelry
Suzanne.
mark document.
Up a little, up. There we go. Up a little.
I can't
A little to
see.
the side. You're
Okay,
fine.
perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
Looks good.
Now, what is this?
Oh, cool. It's like a panther.
Panthers, but it's coming up. When I look it up, it gave me half Panthers, but there's no um, signature. Anybody have a clue of just describe it as a panther?
Panther,
Dual
cat,
headed.
puma. I'm just gonna assume for
Intertwined.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right. Now, another two, I have no clue. Oh, you guys have got to see all my clothes coming up.
Goldette.
Goldette.
It's called Goldette.
That's
No,
the
the
designer.
brand.
I'm
That's the
pretty sure,
brand.
Okay.
unless it's a
So
repo
no
of it, it's
name. I have
Goldette.
two of them. And I know they're not expensive, but I just like the
Oh, that
little,
one sells for good money.
does it? And
Yeah, they
here's
do.
Yep.
Nice, very nice.
Those are
They
cool.
sell for good money. Molly,
okay. So
those are good ones.
I've only gotten through one box. Turn me off so that I'm not so big and you see all my wrinkles.
And what were you paying for, if I can ask?
You know what? It's hard to say. I haven't counted them all. as soon as I count them, I told them, listen, my teacher tells me that no more than 3, but I will pay you between 4 to 5 if you have some good ones. She bought them at auction, and this is the lady that I work for estate sales. So normally you can't get a deal anyway, but she said she paid a lot more for them, but she was just, she didn't want to have to sell them herself, so she was helping me out. So I got some D. Nicola, Hattie Carnegie, Holly Crab
Nice.
Shiner, Har.
Amazing deal. I'm gonna steal your line, Suzanne.
Oh
That's
my
awesome.
God.
So
My
that's just
teacher told me 3.
Perfect. Yeah, because then they think
Yeah,
like, okay,
for
okay,
real.
you're fine.
So here, now you guys are gonna find me horribly offensive. So, Catherine, since you asked that, I'm gonna ask what you paid for those amazing brooches you showed the other day because it's been bothering me and I want to know because they were great.
Why
Which
did
ones?
you ask?
Which brooches?
The ones you thought maybe were Shriner and that could have been. Showed them a couple weeks ago.
I'll
I was
look.
gonna ask you then, but I thought I shouldn't. And then I'm like, well, if she's asking, I can ask too.
Oh, I don't care.
They were neat.
Um,
They were good. You had a good lot of brooches there.
I remember like 2
I'll
weeks ago.
tell you
Really,
all as
really.
soon as I get a count.
They were nice.
While
Okay.
she's looking at it, what did you guys call Suzanne's that ones that she was showing? Because you guys were talking over each
They were
other. Like,
goldette,
what?
goldette,
Godet?
I'll type it for you.
goldette, like gold, and then
Oh, does it have a signature on the back, or is it just
sometimes they do, sometimes they
design?
don't.
Sometimes,
Terry?
and you'll see so many listings that say unsigned gold debt that aren't, but like
Okay.
everyone just
I
says
think
it.
those really were
Yeah, but those are.
$7.91
$7.91.
was my average
nice.
cost of goods.
Those were good. They were nice brooches.
Yeah.
Mindy, been patiently waiting. I think I accidentally skipped you earlier.
No, that's okay. What I just wanted your opinion on what do you guys do if you have something that you're trying to look up and you just can't find it, and the only thing it's a pin, and I think it's like a Guns N' Roses the band pin. The only thing that I saw online were t-shirts that had the same design, but this is a pin. And I did see one pin that sold for $75, but it came with like a booklet, they called it a passport. So I don't see any others. What do you guys do in that situation as far as when you only see one that's sold? You don't see any
Maybe
others listed, and
maybe try a different word. If you can't find pin, like brooch or something, pin back.
yeah, I tried pin back.
Just do similar. It doesn't have to be the same. I just type Guns Roses pin minus lot to get out the lots, and I sorted high to low, and I see the highest one's 99, and then it goes right down to 39 and 40, and there's 65
Yeah.
sold. So
And there's
I don't know if you want to try
$5
for
ones.
99, go
There's
for 99, but lower it in a week if it doesn't sell, or just maybe put 39.99. That's probably what I would
I
do.
I don't overspend time analyzing if it's close. I try to, you can price a little bit high in case you're wrong, but
Okay. So you would go like on the higher end and then
well,
see what
not like
happens.
the one with the passport because that's a whole different. It's
Yeah.
missing the main value, So
I was gonna put it in a lot because I didn't know what it was, and then when I did see when I did search a little bit, and so now I'm like, okay, do I price it higher? Do I take it out of the lot? I don't know.
Did you try to look on Terapeak? Or product research, now they call it.
I don't know what that is, honestly. I know is that like a separate app or is that within eBay?
It's on eBay where it says product research. It gives you a little
Right.
broader, like 3 years or 2 years versus 90 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check that. I didn't think of that. Okay.
Catherine.
I did have one more question. I got this brooch in a lot. And I haven't looked yet on the Juliana website, but I'm pretty sure it's a Juliana. It's a brooch or pendant. It's got the figure 8.
Puddling.
Yeah, puddling.
I think it's missing a center stone.
It
Missing the
is.
center stone, yeah.
It is. So
Yeah.
would you sell it as is? That's my question.
Yeah.
Or would you try to find the right stone for it.
I might have the right.
Uh,
I could
I
just
would
put my
sell it.
eye in it.
I would sell it as
I
is.
would
You could
sell
mess
it
that up
too.
real easy.
Yeah, I don't want to find the stone. So what would you price it as?
So I
At?
just saw, and this is like not necessarily aimed at you. I just saw a whole conversation on the Juliana site about how they didn't make the convertible. Does that have a bail on it? About
Yeah.
how they didn't do that. That was just yesterday. They had a big long conversation about how they never did the like pendant and brooch combo, so that if they are, they're added later.
Well, but
Does it
what about
look
that
like it?
puddling? I mean, I haven't looked on
I
the
didn't say it
Juliana.
wasn't Juliana. I just wondered if
Yeah.
the bail was added on later.
Hmm.
I just wondered that because I just read about that conversation. I don't really know. I have no idea
Well, you
personally
can,
on that.
let's see if I can turn it this
But
way.
you do realize there's lots of makers that use puddling,
Yeah.
not just Juliana. So turn that around again.
This way?
So I don't see any rivets at all.
That doesn't matter. They
But
didn't put
I'm
them
just
on
saying, like,
everyone.
we don't go just off puddling. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. Just because that's a figure eight doesn't make it Juliana.
Turn
Find it in the
around the other
database.
side.
Yeah, I'll look in the database. So if it is Juliana, what would you sell it at?
First off, you'd have to see what the pin that with the stone approximate sales is. But pendants are not, turn it around. Let me see the colors of the stones.
They're black and then the AB blue.
I feel like
And
I
I
just
don't,
one like that. That only I have one similar that's like not selling, and I think I had $40 on it.
I was gonna
okay.
guess 27 or 28 maybe on that without the stone.
Yeah, the problem is
I
it's
can't
not
lose my
as intricate as some of them, and that's where when you have
Right.
a lot of different colors and that's where the money is. It's a
Okay.
beautiful statement piece, but without that
Mhm.
stone,
Yeah.
It could be the
I'll look
star
on the
stopper of
Juliana
a
website.
rhinestone craft lot. And
Say
then you can
again?
you can make a rhinestone craft junk lot, and then those can go for decent money actually. And then you could say if it is a
Put that
Juliana,
on
it
top
has
and then put all the
Juliana in
crap
it, so that's
underneath
another
it.
And
option.
then they might wonder if there's more underneath. Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
That's what I do.
All right,
Carrie,
thank you.
How do you guys tell if, like, I know there's that database, but when you're looking at something that's possibly Juliana, or if somebody says it's Juliana but you're not sure, what are the factors that you look at?
A lot. I would recommend that you watch so Slow Happy Vintage. She came on the day that Janine or whatever. She did a really good video on Ann Pittman's Juliana book, and Lynn just did one on the other Juliana book. And that really
I
kind
have
of
both
discusses,
Juliana books, so I mean it's still like
well,
confusing.
that's
So
pretty much your best bet is to read those books and to everybody's got their own
yeah.
opinions on what it is and what it isn't. I would say that the only real consistent thing I see all the time is don't rely just on figure eight puddling because that is not the end all be all of Juliana. There's some Juliana that doesn't have it at all. So it can go
And I'm
both
glad you
ways.
said that because I was kind of going off that a little bit. So does the is Juliana always have rivets?
Not
No.
always.
Okay.
The
All right.
one thing
Nope.
that stands out first for me is the pin. If it's not soldered at 2 points, it's not Juliana. If it has the
Mhm.
bar underneath or the V shape, that's not Juliana. So that's the first thing I look at.
Okay.
Their pin construction's very distinct.
Yep, same.
Well
And besides
made.
that, I always think I just have no idea. Let me check the database. I
When you,
literally don't know.
when you say soldered at 2 points, do you mean on either side of the
On
hinge?
each end,
On each end.
on it, like where the safety roll clasp is, that's
Yeah.
soldered directly to the pin, and on
Oh,
the
okay. And
hinge,
then on the
that's
other side.
soldered.
Yep.
Right, and there's nothing underneath supporting it. It's not riveted in
Doesn't
the
have a
middle.
crossbar. It doesn't have a V bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Does it always have to have open back stones?
Some open backs, some closed backs. The puddling, the pin class to me is kind of iffy,
It
but
has no open back,
Sometimes.
it has no what?
no open back where you can see.
No,
Some do.
there is open backs.
No, I meant if you have a brooch that has what you're describing, and the only distinction is when you flip it over, none of the rhinestones are open back.
Some are, some aren't.
That could
I would
still be
say that they make,
Juliana.
Okay.
yeah, they still make them with closed backs.
All right, I got to take a picture of it and then I'll show you either later.
Some of them are
It's
just
the
so distinct that you can tell, right? I mean, like some of them I'm like 90% sure when I pick one up, right? I mean, it's got like multiple factors. Like the one at
Right.
Catherine's, do I think it probably is? Probably is, but it would make me question it a little bit more. I mean, I look them up anyway. I try to find a number, whatever on the database. But, some are easier to tell than others. I had one that like literally the only thing that tipped me off was the really distinct navets, and they were all pointing up and they were just really distinct. And I thought maybe, and they didn't have it listed as they had it unsigned and they had other Julianas there. So I thought, well, maybe this collector, I mean, obviously they know what Juliana is. Why wouldn't they say this? But I picked it up and I found it right on the database. That's what tipped me off was the navets, but it didn't have puddling and it didn't have rivets, but the pin was correct. Pin was soldered in two places and it just,
Yeah, it's
you start
I used
realizing it more and more.
I have a
a
Juliana question.
combination of things.
I used to see a lot of things uh in the title it would say book piece. I don't see that quite as often anymore. I think people use the website more. Would it be helpful to add book piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get more
If you
money
can
for
find
it.
it.
Especially
think
if you
so,
set
yeah.
the piece on the picture in the book and take a picture of it.
Okay.
I would.
Here's
I've
one.
got a couple pairs of earrings. I've got to look and see if I can find them in the books.
That's the Luca Raza piece, isn't it?
It's a what?
Is that the Raza piece? It looks like a Raza piece.
I don't know because this is very interesting. The little tag where you would actually see the name is hidden uh, under before they put the thing on for the pin, so you can't really tell. It's a lion.
It is. I'm
That looks like a
90
Raza
something
piece.
percent sure it looks like the lion I sold. Or close to it. Not exactly, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Any
Really fun pieces.
Yeah, Luca has, I think his name's Luca or Lucia Raza. It looks like it to me.
Okay.
Or is it
Then your internet has you
because Hat did a lot of them
bad.
tassel looking things.
Who? Tell
It's-
us again, Lynn.
Never mind.
No, tell
We
us.
I
can
say
hear you
I
now.
couldn't
Say
find
it.
it. Is it Hattie Carnegie? Because she used a lot of the tassel things.
We heard you.
Oh, I didn't hear.
No, she just said it while she was typing it just now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. Yeah.
All right. So I was just curious if anybody. Okay, thanks. And
Super
who
cool.
knows? Maybe by next week I'll have the whole group listed or not listed, but pulled together, and I can show you all.
I'll show you I had a couple of those and a couple okays. So I'll show you it was good and then it turned out bad. And it's my error, but it's to learn from my mistake here. So here is on Posh, and I sell these on Posh all the time. They're the little sweetheart bracelets. So I sold it on Posh for 85 bucks, which is fine. I probably could have held out and got more, but I just listed it, so I took it. And then the day before, or the same day, I sell the same thing. And I do use Vendu. However, see, there it is, sold on eBay for less money, but it sold first, so I'd already shipped it. Vendu, we have to remember, does not remove the item until it is paid for. So it had an offer out. They hadn't paid yet. Then somebody bought it on Poshmark, but then they accepted the offer. So it hadn't been removed from the listing yet because they hadn't paid. So lucky for me, I had another sweetheart bracelet and I asked the lady, hey, do you like this one? I don't have the other one. I'm very sorry. And she was really nice and said, actually, I like it better. So fantastic. It worked out. But if you're cross-listing, also Russell brought up the other day, and I agree with him, it hasn't always been removing sales that are even been paid for lately. So it's glitchy. We got to make sure we're on top of it, at least to make sure that we're not double selling on eBay, because that can be big problems.
Yeah, they actually
yeah,
had a
Nicole?
post.
Yeah.
They actually had a post out on that, Carrie, on their website that they say it's a known issue and they're working to resolve it.
You should have said, well, Carrie and Russell knew it was a known issue, because I noticed that last week. I was like, Nicole, did you have a question about that? Or were you showing us something?
Can I show you my maybe Juliana brooch?
Or just a second. Go ahead.
Sorry. Desktop entire screen, right?
Yep.
So, so this was in a box of missing rhinestones. Nicole's going to repair pile, which I've been digging into lately because I don't even remember what's in there. So that's the front.
So you tell me what makes you think that's a Juliana.
The grayish stones. The
which are used in a lot of brooches.
I was gonna say no, that's not one of the factors.
oh man.
No, go ahead. I ask everybody this. Even if I knew that was Juliana, I would ask you that same question because I want you to
So
be able to tell me.
the pin is soldered at both ends. I don't necessarily see the puddling, maybe, I don't know. Like, but then it has no open back, so that's what made me think, no, it's not.
So remember how we just said some have open backs, some don't. There's lots of closed back Julianas, so that's
And
not one
who's
of
the
the.
designer that I know there's a designer that uses that. Oh, what is that called when they use that? Go to the front again. Yeah. That swirl of pave set. It's called something.
Eisenberg has a lot of it, but
I don't think it's
so
an
do lots of
Eisenberg.
other people.
You're
Yeah.
starting to see it in the new jewelry too.
So I
Yeah.
have a matching necklace that's has a hang tag that says Dwayne. It's not like, but I don't know that it's matched. It just got the same colored stones, same kind of design, but this one's not signed.
So in sets, lots of times only one piece or two pieces will be signed and the other ones won't be. So that's not uncommon at all.
So the
I'm not saying it is,
necklace it had a hook clasp, but it was full of verdigris. So I chucked the clasp and I have it in my pile because I have another hook somewhere in my salvage pile. I was going to put a hook on it and then I was going to fix the rhinestones. And then lately I've just been digging through and okay, I'm going to list it the way it is. So you think this is Dwayne then? This is part of that set, maybe?
I wouldn't say that.
I would have no idea.
So, but it's not Juliana.
In my opinion, I would
No,
never think that was Juliana. No.
No.
Okay.
Do you have the Juliana book?
No.
I would invest in that book. I think the one by Ann Pittman is amazing. I think it's great. I'm not saying the other book's bad. I'm just saying if I was learning from scratch for Juliana, I would buy Ann Pittman's book.
Okay.
It's amazing. And you'll start realizing that there's certain things that look similar and
Okay.
Does anyone else think that brooch looks more modern?
yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, but the back,
Mm.
It doesn't scream modern.
yeah, it's more like 70s, 80s.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, I thought it looked newer than that.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
a lot of the new
though.
ones,
People like
Crystal,
the-
are starting to look like that on the fronts. The back doesn't look super new.
See, and it's
They
in
would-
my missing stones pile because I thought either I'll sell it or I'll use the stones from it for something else, which I do all the time. But
Nicole, do
Chris-
you solder?
I wish. No, I don't. I'm not that brave.
So what do you do? Just glue?
Yeah, I use what's it called? CB cement or GB
Okay.
cement.
Well, good for you.
What is it called, Lynn? That
that's not one I use.
Jeep. Something's. Oh, here it is.
GS Hypo Cement.
Yes, hypo cement. Thank you.
And Crystal, them probably would be glued in stones
You
if it
did
was
it.
newer.
You just knocked over all my necklaces, Betsy. Sorry. I let my cat
Yeah,
in here.
Betsy.
Golly,
So
Betsy.
a lot of the new ones are absolutely prong set.
Are they?
Oh yeah. Yep. So that's not a thing anymore. Yeah, a lot of the new ones are prong set. They're
You
cheapy,
get,
crappy prong set. That's a prong set.
Well,
but you have to
hello and
look at
welcome back. Thank you.
Sorry.
you have to look at all the features, like the prong
Yeah.
set, the back, how it's if it's in a mold, it has a brushed stuff. So many
Getting
variations.
hard. It's getting so hard. Can you quit sharing your screen,
Sorry,
Nicole?
sorry. She just made. Oh, she's in so much trouble.
The
Sorry.
cat doing cat things.
That's why I don't let her in here, and I forgot she was in here.
Cats are doing cat things. Let me share my screen again. I had a few lessons here. This one I wasn't sure about. I showed Lynn, but it's all glass. And it says Roma on the back, which I think I definitely agree with Lynn that it probably is Italian. It had a very nice jeans bonnet. And that was the mark, which I'm not familiar with. But I've had some people ask about it, so it may sell. It was really pretty. This one made me think with Meg showed hers, but this one's super old. It's like dirty hand knotted, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
pretty old and had the little earrings.
Sorry, going back to what did you price the other one, just so out of curiosity?
Probably about $100. I didn't look.
Okay.
Yep, $99.99. Will I get it? Probably not. I'll probably take it off for about $70, $80. But it was nice. It's very heavy, all glass. So this one, I really do. I'll hold out for a little bit on this one. This one was really nice. It's not sterling or gold or anything, but it was just a really nice wedding cake bead
Definitely.
type set.
What'd you price it at?
I don't remember. Hang on. Probably 160 if I had to guess. If anything, I'm consistent. 165. See, if anything, I'm consistent in my pricing. I can usually guess what I did. Doesn't mean it's right. It just means that's what I did. So I double sold that one, but ended up being okay. That was my best sale of the week. I could have split this and made more money, but it literally sold in 5 minutes for $300. So
The
on its way
beauty.
it went. And I spent 15 for the set. So
Awesome. I love Nolan.
I've been into Nolan and Camrose and Cross lately. So I think this actually sold and I've already shipped it. So I'm not really sure why. Well, there it is. It does say sold. So I got this in a set with the bracelet and the earrings and I split them up and I paid $15 for the whole set. And the bracelet and the earrings are still up. So and this one sold. This one was up for a long time. So I think I just had it priced too high, but it sold finally. I started it December 30th. But remember that designer usually does pretty good. I just had mine priced too high, I think. And I have like 6 of these and I think I've sold 4 or 5 of them already. Of the starlet necklaces. They are a pain to ship though, because they're like huge and bulky and big but I had less than $5 a piece into each of them. I bought a whole set from somebody, so it was worth it. There was a brand I had that I was going to show you that I had never heard of before. So that was one of the another pearl sets that I found more remarkable as far as a sold set to show for the shelves. I find these once in a while, and you will find these around, usually set in sterling, usually has some pretty filigree.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that one was really nice. I usually get like 75 to 100 per, necklace or bracelet, so that's pretty close for the set.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that one was really nice. This one was really cool too. And it was signed, but it's the whole set, and it was a really nice, well-made set.
Hey, Carrie, you're selling the sets.
Oh,
I
this
think
wasn't
I
me,
have
dear.
that bracelet
This
somewhere.
isn't me. I would have
Oh,
totally split this one up. This was
Oh,
me
I thought,
showing you the research I did for
oh,
shells.
oh, okay. I was going to say,
But I did sell the Nolan Miller sets.
yes,
Oh, and I did sell this on Macari in like 5 minutes.
that's a
And it
beauty.
was, I paid $15 for the set. It had earrings with it, and I sold the earrings for $100 last week. So Macari usually hates me, and I don't cross post everything to Macari, but that one sold really fast. So this is a puka shell necklace. I think they say it is anyway. I was trying to see a close up. So whenever I sell puka shells, I try to get a close up of the inside of the shell because people look at that sucker.
That's
That
huge.
thing is a hunker. Yeah. They look a little more slabby, but what do I know?
Yeah, it's hard to find ones that show the inside. I think maybe because they're like
Look at
tight,
those.
they're
So
tightly
the ones
pushed
that
together
bring
like
good
that.
money are these huge ones.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
But I
I'll
would
show
never
them.
expect they would sell for that price, though.
They are pretty big. This one is a Kenneth J. Lane cowrie seashell. I don't know that I've ever seen this. But it was kind of neat to
And
find it when I was.
Carrie, that video I posted, it is on KJL. In that video, the
Yeah,
lady got his cards that he actually drew on, and how many rhinestones, how many, all this. It's really interesting. If you guys are
cool.
interested, it's
Yeah, for
posted.
sure.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Lisa. It
Long
looked
video,
good.
but it's
I haven't been
interesting.
able to see the chat yet, so that's why I didn't comment on it because I
Oh,
had trouble
thank
multitasking
you.
and seeing
I
chat at the
thought
same time.
so.
Yeah, no,
Thanks.
that's cool. I love watching that kind of stuff. This one was kind of neat. In fact, I think it was probably underpriced, maybe a little bit, depending on what it's made out of. It's got a little green on it, but it was kind of cool. Pretty old, I think.
On the black it's cut off, what did it say? It was a conch shell or what was it? It's a black
Oh,
part.
sorry, because I've got the thing. It's a cowrie shell.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep. When you do list shell, you do want to kind of say what it is, because otherwise somebody will try to say, oh, that's a conch or whatever. This one was kind of neat. I don't think it's super old, but it was neat for the shell. I think somebody probably makes those.
Looks
This was a
India.
Zuni. This was the best one I could find that showed it's got the shell within the ring. Not a high price sale, but
He's so
I
cute
always
though.
want to know, why do the owls always look like they're graduating?
I was gonna say he looks like he's a Professor Owl.
Owls always look like they're getting ready to graduate. I don't know if it's because they're wise and that's why we're
You're
supposed to think that. I
wise.
don't really know, but
You're wise.
it just makes me want to lick the lollipops, I guess. There's a Cuba, and I showed this one because I probably would have thrown it away. So I would have gone in my garbage can.
Wow. They got $95 for it.
This was the brand that I wanted to show. I haven't seen this.
I have not either.
I knew
Corrine
about it, but I
Simpson's
never
Avon.
found it.
But that person I just saw that bought out that whole Avon dealer that's trying to get rid of it, she had boxes. So she's not saying what anything is because she doesn't know. She has no idea. And she won't wear glasses on camera, which is amazing for me because she's not looking at anything and she's not saying what anything is because she can't see it, right? I know her personally. She won't wear glasses on the camera. So she can't read any of the marks. So the only people buying up on this jewelry are ones that know what it looks like on site. So then I looked in these and she's got the boxes that look like this. So I had no idea what was in there, but I bet it's from this lady. And that's how she's the one I got all the boxes. And she was just like Avon, Avon, but she wasn't showing the boxes. You could just see them sitting on the table. She was just like Avon, but I could see the purple box. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's Elizabeth Taylor. And it was.
Mm.
So pay attention to the boxes when we have to make, and sometimes the boxes lie, don't get me wrong, but I didn't know about that one. So now I know to check our jewelry out for that. Here was probably the most highest priced abalone shell. And it's more of the raw look, but it was
Oh,
very
it is
substantial. Very nice. Sterling silver.
beautiful.
But I do love it when I'm researching for you guys and I find something I've never heard of before because it helps me too. This one is $425. I'm guessing it was because of the signature or the maker, or maybe not. I don't know. There's the sign on it. I'm not great with silver or with the markings. I always have to look, and then I'm usually just more confused than I was when I started. This one's probably has to do with it being Masonic too, and that it was Zuni, but I thought that brought a pretty healthy price for what it was.
Wow.
I mean, you could have bought it at my store if I found it for like $75. So
Mm,
I do really well with Mason stuff.
mm.
Masonic stuff does really well. I thought that was pretty nice. I mean, it's got a lot of wear on it and stuff, but it's sterling. It's from Goodwill. Kind of cool set. And those were just the same ones. So Lynn's definitely the better teacher on shells because I don't list a lot of the shells. If I get those cameo ones with that shell I do, this
Oh, I
one was
love
pretty
that.
neat, right?
Cool.
Yeah, I liked this one.
Get that
$629. I would
spiny
really like to be the one listing it.
Carrie, just so you know, because I know you don't know, Minnie has her hand back up.
Yep, I'll just finish this up quick and then I'm
Yep.
gonna unshare my screen in case she wants to. I appreciate it
No,
because you're
no
right.
rush. No rush.
Because you're right, lots of times I can't see. But this was the spiny oyster, and this is the only one I left up to actually like for scrolling purposes, but it brings really pretty good money. And to be honest, I don't know if I would know it if I found it.
It's pretty. I like that.
I don't know that I would. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do
because
you
I got stuff that's
remember?
inlay turquoise and inlay like red or
Yeah.
orange, and
I
I
would
just
think it
don't
was
even
just
say what it
regular
is.
coral.
I don't know. Yeah.
I would just think I had a coral piece. So, this was good education for me because I definitely would not know about this stuff. So, like those earrings, I would never have known that. So
Seems
I
like
learned
native
today.
everything sells, boy, I tell you. Native,
Yes, it
I think.
does. And my there are people will fight all day about this. So I'll stick it out there and people comment rude things probably, but I do not attribute and use the word Native American unless I absolutely know for sure that I can attribute it to a certain tribe for certain, because I feel like for one, we just shouldn't, and for another, we're wrong. Like I can't tell. Like people put Zuni on things or people
Yeah.
put Navajo and they have no idea. It could
It's
have came
against
from
it's against eBay rules too.
yeah, I just don't do
And the
it.
law, I'm
So,
pretty sure, if you reread what exactly it says, but yeah, you can't do that.
like
If
It
Larry
is.
said,
signed by the artist, then I'm not putting it.
like Larry said, he was creating authentic Native American jewelry out of a garage in the 70s, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I just think it's wrong for us to attribute things when we don't know. And I do think it's against policy also. So I just don't. I put
Yeah.
tribal sometimes, or I'll put ethnic, but I don't put Native American.
Yeah, because
I just sold a. Go ahead.
because when I sold that Indian headdress, I was able to relate it back to the tribe, but I was at a outdoor flea market and that stuff looks so authentic, and my husband just off the cuff asked the lady, "Do you make these?" And she just straight up said yes. I was like, "Oh my God." So yeah, you
And see,
definitely got to
that
be
is
careful.
something that they,
Yeah.
the
Wow.
tribes themselves look on eBay.
Yeah.
And if you can't,
Yeah.
I think the only thing I've ever said was Zuni that was actually signed for, by that one lady, and I labeled it Zuni because I had the lady that, made it and everything, but otherwise I just don't. People label lots
Yeah.
of things Zuni and Navajo that aren't, or that they
Yeah.
don't know.
I just sold
Mindy,
a.
go ahead. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Nope.
Oh, you're
I'm-
fine. You're totally fine.
Go ahead, Mindy.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Audrey.
did you call on me? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I was wondering if anybody knows anything about jewelry or a brooch from Norway called Solji,
I
Solje.
do. I sold a whole bunch of it. Good stuff.
Okay, because I was looking at the comps and it just seems like there's not very many.
60,
One's
65 bucks
one's
maybe.
listed for like 400, but the solds are much lower than that. So I just didn't know what.
Mine go between 45 and 70 usually. I
Okay.
bought a whole collection of it once.
Yeah, I forget what I sold mine for, but more towards the 45 to 75 for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about that 400 listing.
Unless
I
it's the
don't
most
know.
intricate one on earth, then maybe that 400.
We got
Okay,
dreamers
It's exactly
everywhere,
like the one I
Mindy.
have, but
Dreamers everywhere.
yeah, true.
Don't worry, I only go to their garage sales of the dreamers. They're like, but there's one on eBay for $500.